So your friend drives a Tesla, but you hate electric, which is weird because you drive a Civic. But anyway, you don't want a friggin' electric car, but you do want one of those big fancy screens that they got with lots of buttons and flashy things. Well, you know, the friggin' Civic just has a little dial stuck in the 90s. Until now, I'll show you how to install this Seicane dash unit, see if it's any good. Here we go. We got this head unit from Seicane, and we are going to replace that on Aaron's Honda Prelude. It doesn't come with a manual, so if you need the instructions on how to install this, I guess I'm your manual, so here we go. You gotta make this face, because otherwise it's gonna break.
Oh, he's actually doing work on your... What are you doing?
Replacing the radio. We might have to look up a YouTube video on how this comes up. He's wrong, the buttons do come off, and that could be what was holding me back. They have these little clips in there that just detents, but just carefully so you don't scratch it, take a screwdriver and put it in behind. All right, so this is specific to a Civic, but your unit might look something like this. They make many different models for many different cars, but you can kind of see how things go together. We see a row of clips at the back here. There's no screws, so take a look at whatever unit you have. If there's any holes that the screws go in, you're gonna have to find those. But what I can tell is that this section here goes in behind your head unit. We're not gonna bore you with the details, but basically the Civics, you pull down on this little unit on the left of the steering, just pull down on it gently, and in the very bottom right, there is a Phillips screw. So to save the headache, I already pulled it out. Now you can just gently grab it on the top here and give a little yank, and this unit comes off. On the back of this, there's one plug that does your trip meter. So unplug that, just push in the little tab, pull it out. You might want to unplug your battery because you are unplugging things. From there, remove this little cover with a screwdriver. You can see a little tab in the corner, and that goes right here. And then you'll see two 8mm or Phillips or 5/16, all three of those work, screws that hold in the radio. You're gonna have to remove those, otherwise your radio won't come. Once you have that, you can give it a little tug and you can pull the unit out. You'll have to unclip the 4 plugs at the back of the radio, and then I believe it's 3 plugs on your climate controls. From there, you have to take all the clips with a little flat screwdriver and pop them off of this unit and then attach them to your head unit. Now, your climate control, just unscrew it with a Phillips all the way around, and your ductwork for the Civic, and screw it right into the head unit itself. Now your main radio controls are done with the top left here, so you'll get your lights, your key on, whatever else through here. These are basically your inputs and the output for the Honda Civic. These are all outputs from the radio unit itself. There's a plug for amps and I think a TV screen too. There's also an out or an input for a rear view camera that you can tie into your reverse, and it comes with a GPS which just screws in right here. Now the GPS you can just stick behind the dash. You don't have to put it under the windshield. We've tried it already and it seems to work okay. Some of them, I know the Holly one needs this little unit to be seen, but I think that's okay. The rest of them we're not using, so we just don't have to plug them in. We did find that this plug for the ABS, your airbag for your passenger, there's no spot for that in this unit itself, and because of that, we just tuck it in behind. There's no need for it. It's just to tell you that the airbag light is on or off, and we don't need that. Other than that, we're ready to plug it back in again and firmly push in to the tabs, and we're ready to rock and roll. It's all back together. You got your screw back in. Now we've got 2 USB ports that also came with it. We're gonna leave both, and we're just gonna notch a little piece out of this cover and then just have them ready available there. kind of like kitchen sink. If you pull on them hard enough, you can get them out a little bit, but you're gonna have to just kind of push them back yourself if you want to shorten them up. But let's see if it works first off. We plugged our battery back in again, and this Toyota key will not start the Honda, so let's grab, and then your wipers always go on. Aaron has to block this out because copyright. Okay. So I think you can customize the background. What we did find is that when we first got it, it was set to Asian radio stations, which was like 91.7 and a half. And that didn't work so well. It kept cutting in and out. So you have to go to your screen and put it back to your North American or Australian or European or whatever country you're in. And then basically it's just playing with it yourself, having some fun with it. If you can see the texture on this Honda, it's got like a little grain to it, whereas the new unit does not. It's a smooth plastic, and this color is more like, it's not exactly the same as this one, and it's not exactly the same as this one. It's kind of in between. And if you see here, this is more like a Ford quality where the dash doesn't line up 100%. But honestly, who cares? Look at the size of that screen. As for an install, you need a Phillips screwdriver and that's it. And you can install this yourself. One Phillips screwdriver. The GPS thing, I don't recommend taping it to anything with wires. It could interfere with the signal, so you kind of want it off on its own, nowhere near any big wires, and especially not airbag. Just keep that in mind. We'll drill this little hole in here, pop this cover back on again, and then Aaron will do his review. He's actually been driving with it for a week already. So Seicane came to us a couple months ago and asked if we would review one of their dash units for a vehicle. We chose Aaron's 2010 Honda Civic, and Aaron ordered a unit.
We could say whatever we wanted. We just had to prove that we had the car to test it in. So I sent a picture of my car. They verified that the one that I wanted was the one that they would send me. And it was about a $300 US unit. Obviously that's marked down on their website. What I got in the mail was actually the other unit, which was a $200 unit. Not what I wanted. I had this unit now installed in my car. I asked them why did they send me this, and I don't know what happened, but they said if you give this a positive review, we'll send you the one that you wanted. Now,
this is what you don't do when you ask a channel to review your product. First off, you send the product that's agreed upon. Second of all, you don't tell us to give your product a good review.
You don't want to tell us to give you a positive review in exchange for a better product.
We have to realize that there's a big language barrier. They're using Google Translate to interpret our emails and try to make sense of it.
You have no idea how much of a problem this causes for us because, one, I don't even want to give you a positive review. Two, if I do, then it sounds like I had to say something nice. And three, if I say something negative, there's not really a positive way to come out of this, other than just fully, you know, face up, cards on the table, telling you what happened. I didn't think that they knew how to make this right.
We're not talking to the CEO. We don't know how big the company is. We could be working with an intern who accidentally sent the wrong one or clicked the wrong button and is trying to cover his butt by saying, give us a good review and my bosses won't find out, and we don't know. What we can tell you is that we ordered a stereo from Seicane. We got the wrong one. We were told to do a good review on it and they would give us the right one. Here's our review. Look, it even has a Honda symbol that pops up. That's insane. Like it says,
Dead.
yeah! It comes with Transformers. The unit that they sent us is too big. The reason Aaron ordered the smaller unit with the knobs on the unit itself is because he doesn't have the steering wheel controls. If you had the steering wheel controls, you can change the volume on your wheel. Instead, here there's two tiny little buttons for the volume. this giant screen and the volume buttons are very tiny and they're very hard to operate, which is kind of gets annoying. I know we're being fussy, but it's those little things that kind of just, while you're driving, right? If you want to hear something quickly, like a traffic report or something on a phone call, or you want to mute it or talk to somebody, it's kind of a pain. The fitment isn't bad. It's very quick to install. You can install it in about a half hour, 40 minutes if you're handy and you know where the screws are for underneath the dash. But the fitment isn't 100%, so if you're OCD, that might bother you, but the screen is so big it'll take all of your attention away from anything else in the car, to the point that it's actually distracting a little bit. It's handy for maps, especially for backseat drivers who can see the map and will tell you that you're going the wrong way or you're driving too fast or look out. But it's so big, especially at night, that it's distracting. It's almost a TV screen. We don't need a 10-inch screen, and that's not the one that Aaron ordered. At the end of the day, we just need some tunes to get us to point A to point B, and a GPS system to show us what it works. You can also download apps like Torque, where you can do your engine management, you can do all your speed and your RPM, vacuum boost, all of that is able to be controlled on here. And if you're into like a racing scene, then a larger screen might be what you wanted.
The other thing about this unit is that it's Android 6.0. I don't know if 8.0 is better, but it's just a mess.
These only work with the music that's actually on the device. Like if I go to the radio.
New. And this
That's all
summer,
here.
the Toyota factory event delivers. We've got all the latest models with up-to-the-minute
I should
technology,
see
like a
something here.
2018 Corolla
Like-
LE.
That shouldn't start playing this. That's pretty stupid. If it's paired from my phone and I've moved this button here, I have to go in here to press play or pause or change the song or whatever, and I have to go back or go home. This should be playing whatever I'm playing. YouTube, watching videos, there's an audio delay and it's built into the device. Why would there even be an audio delay?
Because it's Prime Day, and we're here to tell you what the best tech deals that we found in spite of Amazon.
It's not like it's streaming from my phone or something. I would expect that if it was over Bluetooth, but it's right on the device. I don't get that. It's illegal to use your phone while you're driving if it's all touch screen. And I have to look at the screen in order to make any selections at all realistically. Like, what's the difference between this and my phone? I thought maybe it was the actual computer inside that was heating it up. Just gets scorching hot. But it's just the sun. I can't even hold on to here to just press the buttons.
What I didn't tell Seicane is that I did actually order the Carplay dongle off of their website at the same time, and it arrived maybe 4 days after this, and they put a rush on this, so that's saying something for their delivery service time. This thing is pretty great, actually. It works out of the box with this unit. I'd like to actually test it with other units. Most of the complaints that I had about Android 6.0 were solved with the Carplay. It's just a much more intuitive, it's much simpler to use. I like it better. It works with my iPhone, and it compensates for having a lower grade operating system that's not upgradable.
Right?
Yep. Oh man.
3 for 3, baby. You're a great guinea pig for this.
I know.
So if this works really good, I'll put it in my wife's car. If it doesn't work, then back to normal radio.
So you can check out the website, the link is down below. And if you come from our site, there's a discount that you get from Deboss. Check them out, there's a lot of features that we're not using, like a backup camera, and it's got all the outputs for a big stereo if you want to blow your trunk off with some subs. If you guys know of any other radio companies that you want us to review or you want us to reach out to, we're more than happy to do that. But anyway, that's our review for our Seicane head unit. We'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Here we go. So if I drive a Tesla and it sets me back $39,500, but instead I drive a Civic that cost me $428, I saved $39,000.72 by buying a Civic and this screen. It's simple math, people, which you can do on your Seicane screen. Even your It's too much. It's too much. It also has this. I've always wanted this. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what I wanted, to go from my phone into that. Sorry, Aaron. We'll go back. We also have car info, screen off, browser, for whatever else. Also comes with Netflix and Spotify, and this one's a big one. This one right here, YouTube is a big one. I don't think Tesla has any of that fancy stuff.